A text from my realtor popped up on my phone, making me smile instantly. Everything's ready for closing tomorrow. Just need your down payment confirmation. I ran my fingers over the smooth marble counter in my aunt's spotless kitchen. After years of saving every bit I could, my dream of owning a craftsman-style home was finally about to come true. My name is Olivia, and I was about to learn the hard way that family and money can be a dangerous mix. More wine, sweetheart? My Aunt Kelly's voice broke my thoughts. She stood there in her fancy dress, holding a crystal wine decanter. Since my mom passed away, she had taken over as the head of the family and insisted on hosting a special dinner tonight. No thanks, I said. I should stay clear-headed for tomorrow's closing. Her eyebrows lifted. Oh, what closing? I'm buying a house, I said, unable to hide my excitement. Remember the craftsman I showed you pictures of? The one with the wraparound porch. She set the decanter down with a sharp clink. Darling, we need to talk about something important first. The change in her tone made my stomach tighten. What's wrong? There's been a family emergency, she said, pulling out her iPad. Her manicured nails tapped the screen. Your cousin Mark's medical bills have completely emptied the family fund. We need everyone to help. What family fund? I asked. The one your mother helped start before she passed away. Surely you remember signing the papers last year. She slid the iPad across the table. My heart sank as I looked at the banking app. My savings account, the one I'd been building for years, now showed only $319. What did you do? I whispered. What was necessary for family? She said with a soft, practiced smile. Mark needed emergency surgery. Family always comes first, Olivia. Your mother would have wanted it this way. I stood up so quickly that my chair fell over. Don't you dare use Mom to justify this. Sit down, she ordered, her calm mask slipping. You're being dramatic. Dramatic? You stole my house down payment. I did no such thing. You agreed to the transfer when you signed the joint account papers. What papers? I never. Then it hit me. Last Christmas, she'd given me a stack of documents to sign during dinner. She said they were updated beneficiary forms for Mom's old life insurance policy. You tricked me. The realization felt like a punch. Kelly's lips tightened. I protected you from making a rash choice. You're not ready to own a house. The family needed that money more than you needed some silly home. My hands shook as I pulled out my phone. I'm calling the police. Go ahead. Her smile turned cold. Your signature is on every document. It's all legal. Legal doesn't make it right. Right is protecting this family. Right is honoring your mother by putting family first. You're still so young and naive. I leaned forward until my face was inches from hers. Mom would be disgusted by what you've done. The color drained from her face. Get out of my house. Gladly. I grabbed my purse and walked to the door. But don't think this is over. Don't be foolish, Olivia. You can't win against me. I turned and met her gaze. Watch me. The door slammed behind me. In my car, the tears finally came. Years of saving, gone in seconds. My dream home slipping away. But under the sadness, something stronger began to grow, determination. My phone buzzed. It was the realtor. Need that confirmation by 10 a.m. tomorrow. Everything okay? I typed back with shaky fingers. Have to postpone. Family emergency. Then I opened my contacts and found a number I hadn't called in years. Paul, my childhood best friend who is now a financial investigator. He answered on the third ring. Olivia, it's been forever. Paul, I need your help. I took a deep breath. Remember all those strange things we noticed about Aunt Kelly after Mom died? I think I've just found the tip of the iceberg. I'm listening. Good, I said, my voice hardening. Because I'm about to tear my aunt's perfect little world apart. I drove home that night, Kelly's words replaying in my head. Family comes first. She was right about one thing, this was about family. But not in the way she meant. For me, it was about justice, truth, and making sure she never hurt anyone else like she hurt me. The game had started, and I was going to win. The attic in my mom's old house smelled of dust and old memories. Cardboard boxes surrounded me, each one possibly holding a clue to untangling Aunt Kelly's web of lies. I had been searching for hours when my phone buzzed. Any luck? Paul's voice came through the speaker. Nothing yet, I said, moving another box and sending dust into the air. But Kelly's story about Mark's medical bills doesn't add up. I just spoke to him. He's never had surgery. That's interesting. What else? Paul asked. Mom's will is missing. The copy Kelly showed us after the funeral leaves everything to the family trust. But I clearly remember Mom telling me she set up separate inheritances for each of us. A floorboard creaked behind me. I turned quickly and saw my cousin Lauren standing at the top of the stairs, her eyes wide. I'll call you back, I whispered to Paul, hanging up. What are you doing up here? Lauren asked, stepping closer. I could ask you the same thing. This is still my mother's house. Her face softened. Kelly sent me to check on you. She's worried you might do something rash. Worried I might find something, you mean? I pulled out a dusty folder. Like these bank statements showing transfers to offshore accounts, starting the day after Mom died. Lauren's fingers started playing with her necklace, a nervous habit she'd had since childhood. Olivia, please be careful. Kelly has connections. Is that a threat? A warning. She looked over her shoulder. I shouldn't be telling you this, but last year when I questioned my trust fund records, strange things started happening. My job applications were all rejected for no reason. My rental application was denied, Lauren finished. I set the folder down. Kelly did that to you? Lauren nodded. She has Daniel, the family lawyer, in her pocket. And Cheryl handles all the financial cover-ups. Cheryl, Mom's old business partner? The same one. They've been working together for years. Lauren stepped closer, lowering her voice. But Kelly made a mistake with you. She got greedy, took too much at once, and left a paper trail. I pulled out my phone and began snapping pictures of the bank statements. Help me, Lauren. Help me take her down. She hesitated. I can't openly go against her. But then she reached into her bag and pulled out a small key. This opens Mom's old filing cabinet at the lake house. Kelly doesn't know I have it. As I took the key, something slipped from between the bank statements, a folded piece of paper. It was a note in my mother's handwriting. My dearest Olivia, if you're reading this, something has gone wrong. Do not trust the official will. The real one is with James at Coastal Credit Union. Kelly must never know. Love, Mom. My hands trembled. Did you know about this? Lauren shook her head. No, but it doesn't surprise me. Aunt Kelly has been rewriting family history for years. Suddenly, the attic door slammed shut downstairs. Heavy footsteps came up the stairs. Quick, Lauren whispered, grabbing the documents and shoving them into her bag. Act normal. Daniel appeared at the top of the stairs, his expensive suit looking strange in the dusty attic. Ladies, he said smoothly, Kelly sent me to check on you. Just helping Olivia go through some old memories, Lauren said without missing a beat. Right, cousin?
Daniel looked at me.
I forced a smile.
Right.
Nothing important here. His eyes narrowed slightly. Kelly mentioned you might be upset about the family fund. Perhaps we should discuss it in my office. No need, I said, standing. I understand perfectly now. Family comes first, right? He nodded slowly. Exactly. I'm glad you're being reasonable about this. As we followed him downstairs, Lauren squeezed my hand 4 quick times, our old childhood signal. Meet me later. Outside, Paul was already waiting in his car around the corner. I got into the passenger seat and pulled out my phone, showing Paul the photos of the bank statements. This is bigger than we thought, he said, scrolling through the images. These transfers are advanced, done by a professional. Can you trace them? I asked. It'll take time, he said, looking at me seriously. But if I'm right, this isn't just about your savings anymore. This could be major financial fraud. I thought about my mother's note, Lauren's warning, and the years of lies I was only starting to uncover. Good, I said firmly, because I'm done playing nice. First stop, Coastal Credit Union. It's time to find my mother's real will. Paul started the car. Kelly won't know what hit her. No. I agreed, watching my childhood home fade in the rearview mirror. She won't. The next morning, the coffee shop was buzzing when Lauren slid into the booth across from me, her face pale. Kelly's furious, she said. She knows you went to Coastal Credit Union yesterday. Let her be mad, I said, pushing a latte toward her. The bank manager told me Mom's safety deposit box was emptied 4 days after her death. Guess who signed for access? Kelly and Cheryl, Lauren said, wrapping her hands around the warm cup. They're always together when something shady happens.
Exactly.
But here's the interesting part. The manager remembered them because they had an argument in the lobby. Apparently, Cheryl wasn't happy about something. Paul walked in with his laptop and slid into the booth next to me. Speaking of Cheryl, you need to see this. He turned the screen so we could see. Every big withdrawal from your account was followed within hours by a deposit into Cheryl's offshore account. Lauren leaned forward. That's not all. Remember Michael, Kelly's ex-husband? He didn't leave her for his secretary like everyone says. He found something in her files and threatened to expose her. A week later, his business got audited, and he lost everything. Jesus, I breathed. I whispered, how long has this been going on? Years, Lauren said. Kelly's been pulling the strings since before your mom died. The family fund is just her cover. The bell over the coffee shop door chimed. Cheryl walked in, clutching her designer handbag against her cream blazer. Our table went silent. She spotted us, froze for a moment, and I saw something like guilt flash across her face. Then she turned and hurried out. Follow her, Paul said, already standing. I'll track her car. I caught up with Cheryl in the parking lot. We need to talk. She walked faster. I have nothing to say to you. Really? Not even about my mother's safety deposit box. She stopped so suddenly I almost ran into her. You don't understand what you're dealing with. Then explain it to me. Cheryl glanced around the empty parking lot. Not here. Meet me at the old boathouse by the lake. 4 o'clock. Come alone. Before I could answer, she jumped into her Mercedes and drove off. Well, that was dramatic, Lauren said, catching up. You're not really going alone, are you? Of course not. Paul will be nearby. I checked my phone. A text from Daniel had just come in. Need to discuss recent developments. My office. 3 p.m. He's trying to head us off, Lauren said, reading over my shoulder. Kelly must be getting nervous. Good. Let's give her something to really worry about. I forwarded Paul's banking evidence to my email, then called Daniel. I'll be there, I told him. But I'm bringing proof of fraud. Your choice. Be part of the problem or the solution. There was a pause. Then he said, my office has a back entrance. Use that. 3 hours later, I sat across from Daniel in his wood-paneled office, sliding copies of the bank transfers across his desk. His face grew paler with every page he read. He cleared his throat. This is very serious. No kidding. Want to tell me why you've been helping cover it up? He loosened his tie. Your aunt can be very persuasive. She has information that could ruin my career. Blackmail, I said. Add it to the list. I leaned forward. Help me take her down, Daniel, or go down with her. He stared at the documents for a long moment. There's a USB drive in her personal safe, records of everything. But I don't have access. Lauren does, I said. Kelly trusts her to water the plants when she's away. Daniel glanced at his watch. Kelly has a charity board meeting at 5. The safe is behind the painting in her study. I stood. Looks like I'll be late to my meeting with Cheryl. His head snapped up. Cheryl? Don't trust her, Olivia. She's not what she seems. What do you mean? I asked, but Daniel was already shuffling papers, avoiding my eyes. Just be careful. And Olivia, I never saw these documents. We never had this conversation. Outside, Paul was waiting in his car. How'd it go? He asked. Change of plans. We need to get into Kelly's house before 5. I showed him Daniel's text with the safe combination. Ready for some light breaking and entering? breaking and entering to expose fraud and theft, I corrected. He grinned. I'm in. As we drove toward Kelly's house, my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Your mother tried to stop her too. Don't make her mistakes. Paul, I said quietly, I think we need to find out what really happened to my mom. His grip on the steering wheel tightened. One thing at a time. First, let's see what's in that safe. I nodded, watching Kelly's mansion grow larger through the windshield. One way or another, today would change everything. The security code beeped green as Lauren let us in. My heart pounded as we crept toward the study. Hurry, Lauren whispered. Sometimes Kelly's meetings end early. Paul kept watch at the door while I moved the painting, an oversized, pretentious landscape, revealing the wall safe. My hands shook as I entered the combination Daniel had given me. The safe clicked open. Got it, I whispered, reaching inside. My fingers closed around a USB drive, several folders, and a small red diary. Its leather was worn soft with age, and my mother's initials were pressed into the cover. Guys. Paul's urgent voice cut through the moment. Car coming up the driveway. Lauren peeked through the curtain. It's Cheryl's Mercedes. I shoved everything into my bag. Fire escape now. We hurried down the metal stairs just as the front door opened. Crouching behind a hedge, we watched Cheryl walk into the house, phone pressed to her ear. Yes, Kelly, I'm here. No, the safe looks untouched. Of course, I'll check if the USB is still. Her voice suddenly rose. What do you mean Daniel called? Paul tugged my arm. Time to go. We ran to his car parked around the corner. As we pulled away, I saw Cheryl rush back outside, frantically dialing her phone. That was too close, Lauren said from the back seat. What did you get? I pulled the USB drive from my bag. Let's find out. Paul drove us to his apartment so he could safely check the files. While he worked on his laptop, I opened my mother's diary. The pages were filled with her familiar handwriting. Holy, Paul's eyes widened. These aren't just banking records. There are emails, contracts, offshore account details. Kelly's been stealing from multiple family trusts for years. Look at this, I said, pointing to a diary entry. Mom wrote that she confronted Kelly about missing funds 4 days before she died. She planned to expose everything at the next family meeting. Lauren's face went pale. The meeting she never made it to because of her accident. The room fell silent. Paul cleared his throat. There's more. These files prove Kelly and Cheryl have been running a professional fraud scheme, using the family trust as a cover too. A sharp knock at the door made us all jump. Police. Open up. Paul quickly pulled the USB from his laptop and tossed it to me. Back door.
Go.
I'll handle this. Lauren and I slipped out the back just as Paul opened the front door. Through the window, I saw Daniel standing behind 3 officers. We ran 4 blocks before stopping to catch our breath. My phone buzzed, a text from Paul, safe. Daniel filed a complaint about stolen documents.
Cops leaving.
Meet at usual spot in 2 hours. We need to talk to Cheryl, Lauren said. She's the weak link. Did you see her panic back there? Already on it, I said. I showed Lauren my phone, a message I'd sent to Cheryl. Have the USB. Know everything. Meeting in 45 minutes at the lake house, or these files go public. The reply came fast, coming alone. Don't do anything stupid. The lake house was empty when we got there. Lauren went upstairs to watch the road while I waited on the deck, the USB heavy in my pocket. Cheryl's Mercedes pulled up right on time. She got out slowly, hands raised to show she was alone. Where's Kelly? I called. Not coming, Cheryl said, climbing the deck steps. She doesn't know I'm here. Start talking. She sank into a chair, looking older and tired. Your mother was my best friend. When she found out what Kelly was doing, I helped her gather evidence. But Kelly found out, and the night before your mother died, she threatened my daughter's life if I didn't help her cover it up. Why tell me this now? I asked. Because of this. Cheryl pulled a folded piece of paper from her jacket. Your mother's last letter to me. Read it. My hands shook as I opened it. The date was 1 day before Mom died. Cheryl. If anything happens to me, the proof is in the summer cabin's basement behind the old wine rack. Keep Olivia safe. She's the only one strong enough to finish this. I looked at Cheryl. The cabin's been locked for years. She reached into her purse and took out a key. Not anymore. Before I could answer, Lauren's voice shouted from upstairs. Cars coming. Multiple headlights appeared on the access road, 3 vehicles moving fast. Kelly, Cheryl whispered. She must have followed me. I grabbed her arm. Is what's in that cabin enough to take her down? She nodded. Everything. The original will. Proof of her crimes. All of it. Then let's go.
Now.
As we ran to her car, my phone lit up with a message from Paul. Got away from cops. Kelly's called an emergency family meeting for tomorrow. Whatever you're planning, do it fast. The game was almost over, and this time I intended to win. I had all the pieces. The summer cabin's basement smelled of mold and secrets. Cheryl's flashlight cut through the darkness, lighting up rows of dusty wine racks. There, she said, pointing to the 3rd rack from the left. I ran my fingers along the wooden frame until I felt a small gap. Pulling hard, the whole section swung open like a hidden door, revealing a small alcove. Clever, Mom, I whispered. Inside was a metal lockbox, exactly where she had hidden it years ago. Cheryl handed me a small key from her keyring, her hands shaking. Kelly's probably already at the lake house, she said. We don't have much time. The lockbox opened with a click. Inside was a thick manila envelope and a USB drive labeled evidence. Footsteps creaked above us. We froze. Olivia? Paul's voice called. It's me and Lauren. Relief washed over me. Down here. They hurried down the stairs, Lauren gripping her phone. Kelly's gone crazy. She's calling every family member, telling them you've lost your mind and are making up lies about her. Perfect timing, I said, pulling out the contents of the envelope. Because we just found. I stopped. Something was wrong. The papers were too new, too clean. The USB drive didn't look old either. Cheryl's flashlight beam stopped shaking. I'm so sorry, Olivia. The basement door slammed shut above us. A key turned in the lock. You set us up, I whispered. Lauren ran up the stairs, rattling the handle. It's locked. Kelly has my daughter, Cheryl said, her voice breaking. I didn't have a choice. Heavy footsteps moved above us. Kelly's voice echoed through the door. Did you really think it would be that easy, Olivia? That your mother would just leave evidence lying around for years? Where's the real evidence? I demanded, turning to Cheryl. She wouldn't meet my eyes. Kelly destroyed most of it. What's left is in her private vault at First National, along with your mother's real will. You'll never see it, Kelly called down. The police are on their way. Breaking and entering is such a serious crime. Paul pulled out his phone. No signal. Signal jammers, Cheryl said quietly. Kelly thinks of everything. I grabbed the flashlight from Cheryl and aimed it at the small window near the ceiling. Paul, give me a boost. Don't bother, Kelly called down. Those windows are barred now. Here's what's going to happen. The police will find you trespassing with stolen documents. Quite a scandal unless... Unless what? I asked. Sign over your rights to the family trust, walk away, and I'll tell the police it was all a misunderstanding. I laughed, the sound sharp in the dark basement. You really think I care about the money now? This is about what you did to Mom. Silence. Then Kelly's voice came back, low and cold. Be careful, Olivia. Accidents run in the family. Lauren gasped. Paul grabbed my arm. Even Cheryl looked shocked. Did you just confess to killing my mother? I shouted. Of course not, Kelly said smoothly. I'm simply pointing out that tragedy can happen to anyone, even young, healthy people. Even tonight. While she spoke, I examined the bars on the window. They were old, rusted, and the frame looked weak. Paul, I whispered, those files you copied from a USB, did you send them anywhere? He nodded. Encrypted email to my work account. Why? I pulled out my mother's diary. Because Kelly made the same mistake with me she made with Mom. She underestimated how much we've already gathered. Raising my voice, I called up to Kelly. Hey, Aunt Kelly, remember Mom's old diary from your safe? I just sent photos of every page to the entire family, including the entries about your threats before she died. You're bluffing, she yelled. Check your phone, I said. Footsteps pounded away from the door. A moment later, Kelly's scream of rage echoed through the house. Now, Paul, I hissed. He rammed his shoulder into the window frame once, twice. On the third hit, the rotting wood gave way, and the frame came free. I turned to Cheryl. Coming. She shook her head. I'll keep her distracted. Save your mother's name, Olivia, please. We climbed out just as police sirens wailed in the distance. Running into the woods, I could still hear Kelly's fury echoing from the cabin. Where to now? Lauren panted as we ran. First National Bank, I said. I told them. The night manager owes Paul a favor. Kelly's private vault won't stay private for long. My phone buzzed. Messages from family members were pouring in after seeing Mom's diary pages. Each one was more shocked and angry than the last. The family meeting tomorrow just got a lot more interesting, Paul said. I smiled coldly. Kelly wants to talk about family secrets? Fine. Let's talk about all of them. You can't access this vault without proper authorization, the night manager said, glancing nervously between us. James, Paul leaned forward. Remember when I helped clear your brother's fraud charges? Time to return the favor. The manager wiped his brow. Kelly will sue the bank. Kelly will be too busy dealing with the FBI, I said, sliding Mom's diary across his desk. Read the entry from May 16th. His eyes widened as he read. This is about money laundering and worse. My mother died 4 days after writing that, I said, meeting his gaze. James stood quickly. Follow me. The vault area felt colder than the rest of the bank. James's key card beeped 4 times before the heavy door swung open. Vault 320, he said, leading us down a narrow hallway. You have 20 minutes before the security system resets. Inside Kelly's vault, we found stacks of documents, USB drives, and a sealed envelope labeled Original Will, Ruth Saboka. Got it. I breathed, my hands shaking as I opened it. Paul was busy photographing everything else. Olivia, look at this. Offshore account numbers, transaction records. Kelly's been stealing from more than just your family. My phone lit up with a text from Lauren. Where are you? Kelly's called the police again. We need to hurry, I said, stuffing the will into my jacket. Suddenly, the vault door began to close. No, no, no. Paul jammed his foot in the gap, but the heavy door kept moving. James, override it, I yelled. The manager's voice crackled through the intercom. I'm sorry. James's voice came through the intercom. Kelly's here with security. She knows about the access. James, don't. I started, but the vault door sealed shut with a heavy thud, trapping us inside. Well, Paul said into the darkness, this is less than ideal. I pulled out my phone and used its light to scan the papers we'd taken. At least we have what we came for, Mom's real will and proof of Kelly's crimes. Which won't matter if we suffocate in here, Paul muttered. The intercom crackled again and Kelly's voice filled the vault. Found something interesting, dear niece? You killed her, didn't you? I said. Mom was going to expose you, so you had her killed. Kelly laughed softly. Such an active imagination. But since you're so curious about the truth, let me tell you what really happened to your mother. Paul was examining the vault door hinges with my phone's light. He caught my eye and gave me a small nod. Keep her talking. Your mother was weak, Kelly continued. She thought everyone deserved an equal share of the family wealth. She wanted to dissolve the trust and give everyone their portion. Can you imagine? All that carefully managed money scattered. So you stopped her, I said. I tried to reason with her. I even offered her a partnership. But she was determined to ruin everything I'd built. The brake lines in her car, that was regrettable, but necessary. Paul froze. My stomach dropped. Did you just confess to murder on a recorded bank security system? Silence. Then chaos erupted outside the vault, shouting, footsteps, something heavy hitting the floor. The vault's mechanism whirred, and the door swung open. Lauren stood there with James and 3 FBI agents, her phone held high, still recording. "I called in that favor you mentioned," she said to Paul. The FBI was very interested in Kelly's financial activities. Kelly lay face down on the floor, her hands being cuffed behind her back. "You stupid girl," she spat at me. "You have no idea what you've done." "Actually," one of the agents said, "thanks to your confession and the evidence Miss Saboka just recovered, we know exactly what's been done. Kelly Mills, you're under arrest for fraud, embezzlement, and the murder of Ruth Saboka." As they led Kelly away, I clutched Mom's will to my chest. "Is it really over?" "Almost," Paul said. "We still have the family meeting tomorrow." Lauren's smile was grim. The whole family heard Kelly's confession. I had been broadcasting everything live to the family group chat. My phone buzzed. A message from Cheryl. "Kelly's daughter helped me escape. I'll testify about everything. Tell your mother's story." The next few hours passed in a blur of FBI interviews and document processing. By dawn, we had given our statements and Kelly was being held without bail. Back at my apartment, Paul, Lauren, and I sat around my kitchen table, empty coffee cups scattered between us. "The family meeting starts in 4 hours, Lauren said. "What's the plan?" I open Mom's will and read it carefully. We tell them everything, Kelly's schemes, Mom's murder, and how the trust was supposed to be divided years ago. "They'll be shocked," Paul warned. "Angry. Some might not believe it. They'll believe this." I held up the will. Mom left clear instructions, equal shares for everyone, just like Kelly feared. "It's time to make things right." Lauren reached across the table and squeezed my hand. "Your mom would be proud." I looked out at the rising sun. "One more thing to do first." "Where to?" Paul asked. "The cemetery. I need to tell Mom we finally got justice. The truth had cost my mother her life. But now, it would finally set our family free." The family meeting room was heavy with tension. Every chair around the massive oak table was filled. Faces I hadn't seen in years now turned toward me. Emily sat across from me, her fingers tapping nervously against her water glass. Daniel stood in the corner, looking like he wished he were anywhere else. "Before we begin," I said, standing at the head of the table where Kelly usually sat, "I want to thank you all for coming on such short notice." "Is it true?" Emily blurted out. "About Kelly? The arrest?" I nodded. "It's true. But there's more. Much more." I placed Mom's diary on the table. "Let's start with what really happened to my mother." The room fell silent as I read the final entries, Mom's suspicions about Kelly, the threats, the missing funds. With each word, the air in the room grew heavier. "That's impossible," Uncle John interrupted. "Kelly said Ruth's death was an accident." "Kelly lied about a lot of things," Lauren said, stepping beside me. She played the recorded confession from the bank vault through the speakers. Gasps filled the room. Emily began to cry. Uncle John's face turned red with anger. "The FBI has confirmed everything," Paul said, handing out copies of the financial records. "Kelly's been stealing from all of you for years. The family fund was just a cover for her personal accounts." "What about her trusts? Our inheritances?" Aunt Madison demanded. I pulled out Mom's original will. Everything was supposed to be divided equally after she died. Kelly hid this will and made a fake one so she could stay in control. Daniel stepped forward, clearing his throat. I can confirm that. I helped Kelly create the fake will." "You what?" Uncle John shot to his feet, his chair tipping over. "Sit down, John," I said firmly. "Daniel has already confessed to the FBI in exchange for a lighter sentence. But he wasn't the only one who helped Kelly." The door opened and Cheryl walked in. Voices rose in anger. "Please," Cheryl said, raising her hands. "Let me explain." For the next 30 minutes, she laid everything out. Kelly's years of lies and manipulation, the hidden accounts, the threats, and the web of control that had kept everyone silent. "Why come forward now?" Emily asked, wiping her eyes. "Because of Olivia," Cheryl said. "She did what her mother couldn't. She gathered enough evidence to bring Kelly down without anyone else getting hurt." I opened my laptop and projected account statements onto the wall. These are your real inheritance amounts before Kelly's theft. The FBI has frozen all her accounts. With her confession and these records, everything can be returned to its rightful owners. The room erupted, voices overlapping with questions about amounts, accusations, and demands for action. Enough. I slammed my hand on the table. The noise stopped. This isn't just about money. My mother died trying to protect this family from Kelly's greed. She wanted everyone to get their fair share and be free from manipulation and threats. Silence filled the room again. I've prepared documents to dissolve the family trust, Paul said, passing out folders. Once these are signed, everyone will get their inheritance as it was originally intended. What about Kelly's share? Aunt Madison asked.
Forfeited, I said.
The FBI is taking her assets as proceeds of crime. But her daughter, Sophia, will still get the portion Mom intended for her. Emily stood, tears in her eyes. I need to say something. She looked at me. Olivia, I had no idea Kelly was using my name to steal your savings. I'm so sorry. I know, I said softly. She used all of us against each other. But that ends today. One by one, family members came forward to sign the papers. With each signature, the family trust's hold over us began to disappear. I could feel Mom's presence growing stronger in the room. There's one more thing, I said as the last paper was signed. Mom left letters for each of you, hidden with her will. Kelly never found them. I handed out the sealed envelopes, watching as my relatives opened them with trembling hands. Soon, the room was filled with sniffles and quiet sobs as they read Mom's final words. What happens now? Lauren asked as the meeting began to wind down. Kelly's preliminary hearing is next week, Paul said. With the evidence and confessions we have, she'll never be free again. Family members began to leave, some hugging me, others still too shocked to speak. Emily lingered. I'd like to help, she said. With the court case, with anything. I want to make things right. I hugged her. Mom would like that. Later, as Paul drove me home, I felt the weight finally lifting from my shoulders. I can buy my house now, I said, laughing suddenly. After all this, that's what you're thinking about.
Paul teased.
Mom always said home is where you build your future. I replied, smiling as the sunset painted the sky. It's time I built mine. My phone buzzed, a text from the realtor. The Craftsman house is still available. Ready to move forward? Yes, I typed back. I'm ready for everything. The courthouse steps were crowded with reporters as Kelly was led out in handcuffs. She caught my eye as she passed, her designer clothes replaced with prison orange, her perfect makeup gone. For a moment, I saw something in her face I'd never seen before. Defeat. Life sentence, Paul said, squeezing my hand. No possibility of parole. Lauren hugged me from the other side. It's really over. Not quite, I said, watching Kelly disappear into the prison van. There's one more thing to do. The drive to my new house felt different this time. The Craftsman's wraparound porch welcomed us in the warm afternoon light. Emily was already waiting on the steps with a box in her hands. Found these in Kelly's storage unit, she said. Thought you might want them for the house. Inside, the empty rooms echoed with possibility. Paul and Lauren started unpacking while Emily and I sat on the floor, sorting through the old photos. Look at this one, she said, holding up a faded picture. My mom and Kelly as teenagers. They actually looked happy together before money poisoned everything. I took the photo from Emily's hand. Young Kelly smiled at the camera, her arm around my mother's shoulders. Both looked so innocent, not knowing what was coming.
The doorbell rang.
Cheryl stood on the porch with her daughter, Sophia. We brought a housewarming gift, Sophia said, holding out a small pot of herbs. Mom said Aunt Ruth used to grow these in her kitchen, basil. Cheryl smiled. She always said a home needs something living to grow with it. I invited them in and watched Sophia drift toward Emily and the old photos. Soon they were swapping stories, laughing over old memories and making new ones, the kind of connection Kelly had tried so hard to stop. Daniel arrived next, carrying a thick folder.
The last of the paperwork, he said.
Everyone's inheritances have been properly distributed. He pulled out a set of keys. These are yours, your mother's lake house. The real estate agent can list it whenever you're ready. I'm not selling it, I said, taking the keys. Mom loved that place. We'll use it for family gatherings, real ones this time. The afternoon rolled into evening. More family members stopped by with food, furniture, and stories. Uncle John installed new security locks while his wife helped arrange the kitchen. Cousin Michael set up the Wi-Fi. The house slowly came alive with voices and laughter. Paul found me on the porch, handing me a glass of wine. You okay? He asked. Better than okay, I said, looking through the window at my family, my real family, working together to build something new. Thinking about your mom?
Paul asked. Yeah, she wanted this.
Not just the fair distribution of money, but this, a family supporting each other instead of tearing each other apart. She'd be proud of you. Of us, I corrected. I couldn't have done this alone. Lauren poked her head out. Hey, we found something in one of Kelly's boxes. You need to see this. Inside, everyone was gathered around the dining table. Cheryl held a manila envelope. These are letters Kelly wrote but never sent, she explained. One for each family member, including you, Olivia. She wrote them the night before her arrest. I opened my letter slowly, recognizing Kelly's neat handwriting. Olivia, by the time you read this, I will have lost everything. You're stronger than your mother was, smarter. You beat me at my own game, and part of me is proud of that. I told myself I was protecting the family fortune, but you were the one who protected the family itself. That's what Ruth would have wanted. I'm sorry I lost sight of that. Kelly. Well, Emily said into the quiet, that's as close to a real apology as we'll ever get from her. It's enough, I said, folding the letter. We can't change the past, but we can build something better. Paul raised his wine glass. To new beginnings. To family, I corrected, looking at the faces of people who had gone from distant relatives to true supporters. Later that night, after everyone had left, I sat on my new porch swing, listening to the neighborhood settle into the night. The house keys felt right in my hand, like they'd been waiting for me all along. My phone lit up with a message from Emily. Thank you for bringing us back together. Dinner at my place next week? Wouldn't miss it, I typed back with a smile. Inside, the basil plant sat on my windowsill, its leaves stretching toward the moonlight. Mom was right, a home needs something living to grow with it. And now, finally, both the house and our family had space to grow. The porch swing creaked gently as I rocked, at peace with the quiet. Kelly had tried to build an empire of secrets and fear. Instead, she'd given me the chance to build something stronger, truth, trust, and a real home for the family Mom had always believed in.